Hello, welcome to All For United with me, John Foster, MUFC. Got loads to talk about tonight. Casey's been talking, so we've got loads to discuss that we wasn't even planning on discussing. Natalie's rubbing her hands. How you doing, Natalie? You okay, mate?
Good, John. Happy to be back again after my night in town.
Yeah, and I'm sure you got another one coming up shortly as well. Thank you to everybody in the comments. We've got Whitney with us today. How you doing, Whitney?
I'm doing fantastic. How are y'all doing?
We're doing well, thank you. I'm glad you're all doing well. That's brilliant. And Omar's jumped in as well. How are you, Omar?
I'm fine. Fortunately, managed to get my afternoon free to be around.
I am so grateful that you joined us.
So, how do you guys know each other, Whitney and Omar? How did you kind of get close? Was it just through Twitter?
Yes.
We talking about the NWSL drafts, United, Tobin being our favorite player, that kind of thing. So yeah, and then
Just keep chatting about women's football, I guess.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the same. I mean, Natalie got chatting, so hobbies do that, don't they? Yeah. So the plan for tonight, guys, is we've got new transfer rumours. We've got an injury update. We've got a big topic about Player FC against Man United fans. We'll kind of explain what that means a little bit more throughout the show. We want to get Whitney's and Omar's thoughts on Preston Heath next season. Look, these guys follow American players a lot more than me and Natalie do, so it'll be great to hear a bit more detail from these guys. Hello to everybody in the comments. The usual names are there. Thank you very much. Please hit the thumbs up because we've got some cracking guests on tonight. And we'll also try and do a bit of an FA Cup Burnley preview if we get a chance. So, Natalie, let's start off with yourself regarding Casey's quotes today. So, first of all, let's start off with the injuries then. So, good news that 2 players are looking to be back by the end of the season, but one unfortunately isn't.
Yeah, so Alessia's back in full training. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Leah looks back on the way, mild, light, whatever training. She's basically said that those 2 will be back and will play again at some point this season, which is really great. And then it looks like Tobin had the ankle injury. She was in a boot. She's come back from that. So that's sorted from what this press conference is saying. And then she's got a new, fresh knee injury. So obviously a knee is very delicate. You know, I don't know what injury she's had before, but, knee's a bit bigger than like a little muscle strain. It's probably it was a contact, who knows what happened. And yeah, she's gone back to America now. I think she's in America now. She's probably isolating. I don't know where she's going to go. But it's US women's soccer going to look after her because I think their main aim, her main aim now, and Casey, has done it right. The main thing is she wants to play in the Olympics. We're not playing for anything, and they've come here for this season to get ready for the Olympics. So she started off like United fans love her. We wanted her back. I'm sure she wanted to come and play again for United, but it is what it is. She got a fresh injury, so it's better that if she's going on about going to the Olympics, that she goes back and really focuses on that. So that's a sad point because we don't know where, and I know we're going to go into it, but apparently Casey said today, their focus is on obviously getting fit, going through rehab. They've got the Olympics. They want to do that. And for me, that's a win. That's good that their focus isn't on what I'm going to do next year. It's on, listen, I want to win now. I want to win. So, I mean, we're not going to get Champions League, but, Kristen was talking about, we've got this many cup finals. We've got to win this. And they're not thinking about, or next year I'm going to do this. It's right now we want to win these games. We want to do this. So I'm sure that they're thinking, we want to get through to the next round of the FA Cup and we want to win it next year. At the end, we want to win all our remaining games. Yeah, we're not going to get Champions League, but we have to be ready if God forbid, anything happens. So I think that's a good mentality. You always hear players talking about, I'm focusing on now. I'm focusing on now. And that's what I think they're doing. The one where we were going to talk about, John, hope you don't mind me just taking your time, but was a Charlotte that came out massive, and I want to hear what Whitney's got to say. I want to hear what Omar's got to say. Even that was massive in Spain. There was 2 massive articles saying that she's unhappy, she wants to leave, Man United are interested. And it sounds like now, I was a bit sceptical because then Barcelona replied like, oh no, she's happy. And then Casey's now just come out and just said, I don't even know where it's come from, which is mad. So it sounds like she was using us or someone was using something. Well, but I love it. I love that these massive stories are made for massive players to come and join us.
Let's bring the guys in. I mean, originally it came from Sports Witness, I think. Well, I think it was Tom Coast who originally wrote it. I don't know where we got the information from.
Mundo, which is a Barcelona paper.
Was it? Okay. Look, we've got so many subjects to go through. Shall we? Let's hear about Whitney's thoughts on the Tobin injury first.
Mundo, and because I've followed Barcelona for such a long time, are in favor of making the club look better. So that's why, I mean, that's why they attacked Messi when he was trying to leave, for instance. And yes, I know this is so, like, you can't really gauge the truth with what the newspapers in Barcelona are reporting, because they're for the club and trying to make the club look better, as opposed to actually reporting on whether or not she wants to leave. So that's there.
I think we get that in England regarding the men's game. Not so much on the women's side doing that, but definitely on the men's side we do kind of see a bit of that. Omar, have you got any thoughts on those transfer names?
Huh?
Really not sure, since I had not been following the Spanish league so much, so I might start looking for them, try to see at least some matches highlights, but not much idea. So since I have not much information, prefer not. I don't have an opinion to offer.
Well, we'll listen to your opinion shortly when we start talking about Crescent Heath's future, Omar. But something else that Casey did mention was the injuries. So, Whitney, what are your thoughts on the new Tobin injury?
Well, I think it's actually good for her now to return to the U.S., given that their goal is to, make and win the Olympics, or for her to make the squad and for them to win the Olympics. So it makes sense now. But, 6 months ago, or I don't even know what month it is, 4 months ago in January, for her to attend camp, while they're mid-season, it made absolutely no sense. Same with She Believes, no point of her traveling. But now that she's no longer going to be playing for United for the rest of the season, it makes sense for her to go back to the United States. I mean, that's just, in my opinion, common sense. They're obviously going to look after her, but it was also USS or US Soccer and the NWSL who allowed her to continue playing on injured, which she posted about in her New Year's Eve post, how she, how they had her playing pointless friendlies and World Cup qualifying where they were going to qualify anyways, so it was like, qualify. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. They're going to qualify anyways, so why have her play on an injury for what, months on end or over a year? Not to mention, as Omar and I were talking about earlier, she was horrifically misdiagnosed by them due to her back injury and was out for all of 2017, I want to say, 2017.
Yes, 2017, she lost most of the season. She only played, I think, for the last 4 or 5 games for Portland.
So, Whitney, we were speaking earlier. Do you think people are going to read into this now that she's going to end up staying back in America now that she's gone over there for treatment or rehab? Do you think fans are going to get carried away over in the States thinking that she's going to stay there?
Oh, they already are. They should. I mean, they're talking about manifestations of, U.S. soccer keeping her there somehow and trading her to LA when they're not even going to start playing until February. So it doesn't make sense. And I also think with the way she ended her first season at United, like, it's unfinished business for her. She was she hit the ground running. So she's just not someone who gives up. As you can tell, she's very versatile. I need to get rid of the comments. They're so big. What's it called? So yeah, I do honestly think that she's going to. We went from Louisville, who first said they haven't even spoken to her, and then because they took Kristen, they took her, and they hadn't been in contact, and right after drafting her, mocked the fact that the Thorns front office was like, yeah, you try and coach one of our national team players, kind of make a mockery out of it. So it was like, he was being petty. For starters, he should have been fired. He shouldn't even be the coach. But white male privilege, whatever. We can get into that another time. But just him being wrapped up in investigation, and then someone saying that their new collection, the colors match Louisville, therefore he's going back, and then 24 hours later he's like, oh, I got them for profit. The thing is the chances of them breaking even, selling them on to LA, is extremely slim. Because they're no longer allocated. Granted, they can join the federation again if they have, next season, if they wanted to opt in. But I think opting out shows that they're worth more than the $700,000 that U.S. soccer offers them each year.
Oh, Rod, do you want to jump on that point before I bring Natalie back in?
Well, I think it's clear when they opted out that they may be going for a contract that was between $100,000 and $120,000 to contracts limited in the NWSL that will be around $55,000. Okay, I know that can be priced with the use of allocation money, but not many clubs are in financial condition to be able to pay that. A lot of clubs need to use that allocation money to operation cost.
Can I just add one thing? Because we had what was her name last week, John? We had a fan on last week. Marty.
Yeah.
Sorry, Marty. And it was sort of said that Angel City are going to do it, and Whitney's just said Angel City probably won't be able to get them both. And I know that you guys talk, so I just want to hear sort of why do you think that Angel City might not get them both?
Because they're probably going to have the most operating expenses for starters. And racing Louisville is going to want, for him to break even, he would have to get 100,000 or 150,000 cash plus picks, players, 3 to 4 players, depending on how you rate, depending on the player's worth value. So that right there is a lot of money. They're a brand new player. So it just doesn't seem feasible for them both of them. And then on top of it, you know, you got to worry about whether he's going to protect. I mean, right now they're not allocated, so both could easily leave on the free.
What about that comment?
Yeah.
Sorry, Whitney. Just there's a comment on screen from Vicky, who always contributes. So thank you, Vicky. Alex Morgan to Angel City. So this rumour's been going around there. Well, I've seen it for a couple of weeks from quite a few different places. Do you think that's possible, Whitney?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because as far as club worth value, sorry, didn't mean to make that face, but you know, she hasn't been playing up to par, I guess, to put it nicely, for club. You know, she's more national team, more lights, this, that, and the other. And yes, I understand she's from LA, but I know that a lot of Pride fans and people surrounding the Pride want to get rid of her. Also, she was also the one who set up the meeting between the founders of LA. So, I mean,
okay.
Truly, I wouldn't be surprised if deal of some sort was made. But also knowing the director of recruiting and who she's a fan of and who she's not, it's not looking good for both of them. But then you also got to think that they're not going to start playing. Their preseason is February 2022. So that's, you know, are they going to up and leave United, you know, given they extend? I mean, that's obviously up to Casey and the club if they want to allow them to leave. But it just,
I've seen a comment there by Lon, who said he's been watching the NWSL. I think it's he, sorry if it's a she. Yeah, they'll make new rules and Portland will just get them.
But there's a huge, massive falling out with Tobin and Portland. I mean, you saw the badge kiss. You saw the strike against City. I mean, that was what made all of us fall in love with her playing at United.
She's done an interview recently. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's banning about YouTube now. It's banning about Twitter. And she talks about playing for the US women's national team. And I don't know what she says about that. But then she talks about playing in England. And she's always said it, hasn't she, John? She's always said, this is football, like, the passion is different here. It's different. It's a football heritage. And, oh, she would have been great. Well, it would be great next year if she I've heard that she is staying on with Kristen, but then obviously this injury. But she said I fit in pretty well. And I think she Man United is like made for her. But obviously that's us talking about sentiment, talking about love, passion.
And I also truly believe that press will say as well. I think both are happy. And just like the comment said, that there's my new fan. You know, she's already acclimated to the team. She gets on really well with all the players. I do truly think, I mean, like if they missed out on preseason, you know, they hadn't played since January, or not January, I want to say February, March. So they miss out on preseason. Now they're acclimated with the club. Every single teammate has praised both of them. You know, they're very humble, very happy, very in the moment type of people. And what I think her hardcore fans underestimate is that, you know, she's ultimately happy. You know, I know that they've been wanting to play together for years, and you know, I don't know exactly. I don't think we're ever going to know what happened between Portland and Tobin, but there's not a chance of her going back there. So I also like Tobin bleeds red. I mean, you can just see it I mean, in every game that she's out, how it's killing her that she's not on the field. I mean, she's so incredibly loud. She doesn't sit down. She's screaming at the players, giving them directions and everything else. And yeah, I just think that they're gonna, because of Press's illness, which had nothing to do with injury, they corrected the injury issue, you know, by moving or training at Carrington. But it just seems, you know, her and LJ get on really well, and you know, as far as like keeping her, it's just, I don't know. They have like a mentor-mentee relationship, and that's how. And people also seem to forget that a lot of the team is young. Like, I do agree that some players need to, you know, move on. If I'm allowed to say that. I won't name, you know, who, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's ridiculous when you have a 32-year-old woman who challenges herself. Like I said, she left the NWSL to go to Sweden, and this was before being called up, and she was harassed, and she's still to this day, what is it, 4 years later, you know, being harassed about that and being attacked about that by, you know, NWSL journalists and Houston Dash fans. And it's just, I mean, it just feasibly and financially, it just doesn't make sense for them to not complete their season.
Nat, do you just want to summarise this just by answering the question on screen, and then we'll move on?
So it does sound good from Omar and Whitney in terms of them definitely staying a year. But yeah, Tobin's gone back to America because she's picked up a fresh injury, which I understand why everyone's sort of so upset, because, you know, we've really missed her, and she's just, like Whitney said, she bleeds red, white and black, Man United through and through. She's what gets us excited. And I think a lot of us want to see her play live. I mean, that goal that she scored versus City, if we were there, John, we were there, mate.
She would have come over to us. She would have had to.
Oh, she would have. Oh, it would have been booting out. It would have, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was,
like you said, she deserves that.
That was another FU to Portland.
That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely.
It was right after the draft, right after her comments about City, and she was just like,
yeah,
you can't fake that passion, in my opinion.
I mean, those comments about City, that just got everyone going anyway. So
yeah, absolutely.
We need to hear that. I need to hear that live. I need to hear it. I need to see her saying it.
Yeah, so for her to go and score that goal, like, just, and not only that, just Kristen running out of the way because she knew exactly what was coming. Like, that's what we need. I mean, she literally would motivate the team. But also, I saw a comment about, or I had a conversation about how this is actually their first full season in the top flight. So, I mean, a drop off, injuries. I mean, last season was cut short because of COVID, you know? So I understand, you know, Casey being cautious, or, you know, especially with injuries, she definitely needs to deepen her squad. But, I mean, people are also, I mean, what, last year they finished 10 points behind. And now, I mean, they're,
I think it was 13 points behind third, I think, last season. So,
yeah.
So it's still a move forward.
I mean, and people don't look at it like that. They've progressed, but, you know, I think because they missed out on not once in their interviews when they signed did they say, we're here to play Champions League, which is why I don't know where that even came from. They said they wanted to make history. They said they wanted to challenge themselves.
Good point.
And, you know, that's both of them. Neither one of them are ones to give up. So I think because both seasons were cut short, that they're going to sign on for another season. And personally, I don't believe that Casey is going to be okay with them signing for half the season. In my opinion. And I also, come February, when LA is up and running, and say, for instance, they're in the top 3, are they going to leave? Honestly, I mean, you know, it's why you know, they didn't go to the January camp, because there were games to be played. So that's like what I think fans don't understand, is that they you know, club fans, you gotta, it's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous.
Well, we'll move on to this, because this is a big debate in a second. But Rodney has got a comment on screen. If I'm honest, Rodney, I think that chase has gone a couple of weeks ago. You know, I'm sure we'll still aim for a maximum 9 points, but we need Arsenal to drop points in 2 games now out of the remaining 3, I think it is. So, yeah. So, in my opinion, that has gone, and I've kind of settled down about that whole Champions League spot now, in my opinion. But thanks for jumping in, mate. And there's loads of comments, but I can't keep up with you all. I just want to bring Omar in. First of all, as you can see, Omar's got audio, not visuals. So if there's anybody else who wants to come on and just do audio and not visuals, then please feel free, drop us a message. As long as we know who you are and you're not just a random person. You know, we've got to make sure we know who you are if you're not having any visuals, of course. But yes, by all means, just send us a message. So we'll move on then regarding Player FC. This is something that I heard a little bit about in the men's team first, but I do find that ever since Jackie Groningen come across last season, he's such a well-known character, global superstar, European Cup winner, World Cup runner-up. She's got a lot of fans, hasn't she? And a lot of fans come over, you know, and started supporting United, who may not have even cared about United before. So Jackie's the one that started it off, and then obviously now Tobin Heath, Christian Press coming across, he's magnified even more. Who knows where it's going to be? As Man United grow, the fan base will grow, more superstars will come over. Look, 9 times out of 10, if not 99 out of 100, fans are very appreciative of United and have become United fans. I think Whitney's possibly one of them, and Omar Winnow has supported supported that as well. But just before I bring Omar in on this, what are your thoughts on now that we are getting these top class players? The fans are kind of getting a little bit more. Yeah. What would you say about that, Nat?
I'm ready, John. Listen, it started off Martial FC. Didn't know there was such thing as FC. Martial FC. Then we were pitting Martial against Rashford. I know this is talking about the men. And I thought, what's this? I've never seen this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, when Jackie came over, do you not think I was the first one? We got a Jackie flag to go out and meet her in Oslo. First time I've ever met Jackie. Me and Deborah, we couldn't breathe. He said I had to come over and say, calm down, you know, because we were so ecstatic to meet Jackie. Yeah. It's the first player to come over from overseas, Man United women. We're meeting her in Oslo, open training. I was like heavy breathing. I could not cope. And then she didn't have the greatest starts. This is what I say about Press. It is okay. There's no shame in not having a great season or having to take time to acclimatise to the league. I think with Jackie, what's happened is she was okay. There's some games she was really good, some games she was bad. Then what happened is the lockdown, she worked on her strength and conditioning. She did all that. And I think, you know, we've heard Honor talk about coming in and it's being more physical. Jackie's definitely talked about physical. Press has talked about them sticking it on you and all. And, you know, the defenders being different and tight and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, because I was like, she's not playing well. Oh, you don't deserve Jackie. Jackie is a queen. Jackie is this. And I think to myself, listen, love, this is Man United. I don't come here to watch Jackie. Not in a horrible way. I come here to watch 11 players on the pitch. So Jackie's having a bad game, I'll say it. Tooney's having a bad game, I'll say it. If Jess, my favourite player, is having a bad game, I'll definitely say it. So, you know, Jackie's now stepped up and she looks like, you know, one of our best players. It's great. But obviously, Tobin, Kristen came in. Boom. I was the first one. I was at that thing. Let me buy that Kristen Press. I love Kristen Press. I was ready. You know, they announced Tobin first, and I'm going to be admit I was sleeping on Tobin. I didn't think Tobin was. I was like, Tobin who? No, Crest and Press. That goal versus England. Oh, when she scored the header, that's what I was all about. I said, look at Steph Houghton watching it. I was gassed for Kristen Press. But like I said with Jackie, there's no shame in saying, listen, it's a bit tougher than what I expect. They're more physical. They're going to kick me. They're doing this. And we've seen glimpses of Press, but we haven't seen her best. And I know people are saying, oh, we'll Press on the wing. And that's what I said about Jackie. Well, if you did Jackie like it. And I thought to myself, anyone should be able to do it anyway. If you're so this queen, superstar, this, you should put your life on the line. I'm not saying she's not, but there's no shame in not having a great, and people saying, listen, that wasn't good enough. That performance wasn't good enough there. I remember what game was it? Liverpool. I said, should have passed it. But I'd say that about Jess. I say that about everyone. And I just don't understand. But the minute Tooney didn't pass, oh, Tooney's trash, Tooney's. And I think to myself, are you for real?
And they're adding the player, and she's 21 years old. I love, like, that was when I couldn't.
Yeah. And listen, don't get it twisted. I was bloody annoyed with Tooney. I was screaming, and he threw my remote at the telly. I said, Tooney, why are you passing the ball? And you think if I wasn't in that ground, I don't shout at them all. But this is the thing. We need to realise we're not Press FC, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I'm Man United. I live for the badge. I die for the badge. It's just about my team winning 3 points, whether it's Press on the pitch, Press on the bench, don't care. Get the 3 points. That's what Casey's paid to do. And if, Press has to go on the wing, then But at the minute, the boss says you go in 9. That's it. There's no kind of... I'm not saying Press kicking off about it. There was at points at times where Tooney wasn't happy about it being 10. Now look at her, killing it. So... I trust in Casey. Casey is the one who's got us here. But these people obviously know better. They've obviously got UEFA A qualifications and all this kind of thing to tell Casey Stoney where this should do and what she knows about a team. Yeah, Casey's not the best, and I'll criticise her as well, but I don't know, mate.
Yeah, but when Press and Tobin came in, both said they will play where they're asked to play. Not one said, I need to be on the wing, or, nobody had any preconditions before signing or anything. Like, they said they will fit in, and, unfortunately, Russo got injured. So, it is what it is. But also... Can
I just say, that first interview, Press said, I'm a striker. So what is it? She said she's a striker. So what is it? I don't understand. Sorry, Whitney.
Not only that, though, but then what was it? The game against Sweden. Everyone was like, oh, we're going to be begging for her on the wing. We're going to be begging for her on the wing. And then they literally drew in, the 88th minute because they won a fraudulent penalty or a BS call. Wasn't a penalty anyways, but quiet. Nobody said a word after that. And then to cover up her poor performance. I don't need to be attacked later. To cover up her lack of performance, but team wide, it wasn't solely just her. They underestimated Sweden, but all of a sudden I see tweets saying she played as a striker, and that's why she didn't perform. But that's not true because Carly Lloyd was the 9. So it was like, y'all are really just can't accept. It just baffles me that you can't criticize a player for playing wrong. Like, I criticize, this is on a separate topic, their company for something they, came out with or whatever. I said, see how easy it is to criticize for doing, NFTs. No one is denying that Press is better on the wing.
Let me answer this question, but let me get Omar in first because I want to answer that question. I want to have a say on this. Omar, you live in Argentina. Do you kind of feel this where you live about all the hype around Press and Heath has kind of not overtook Man United, of course, because Man United is bigger than 2 players. However, do you feel that now that they've come into Manchester United, do you feel that like the women's football's changed, or do you feel like the social media kind of really took hold of it?
Around here, people, I would say 99% of people is not aware that there is a woman Manchester United team.
Probably, yeah.
No, you can't argue with that.
Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but if I say it's 95%, I think I'm a bit short.
So there's a comment on screen that I want to go through, and it kind of links in a little bit. So regarding Press is a winger. She might be, but we've got a better winger in my opinion, who's done better for us in the last 2 seasons on the left wing. And I'm not talking about Tobin Heath, I'm talking about Leah Galton. She doesn't need to prove anything. She's already proved it. Now, Press might have been doing a fantastic job winning World Cups or whatever, but this season she hasn't been. So that's why fans like myself get defensive, where if we turn around and say a comment, or if we say that we want Leah Galton on left wing, it doesn't mean that I don't like Kristen Press. It doesn't mean that I wasn't happy when she signed. It doesn't mean that I wanted to leave. It means that at the moment, as things stand, Leah Galton is a better left winger at Manchester United than Kristen Press is. Now, obviously, fans are going to start popping off this, that, and the other, but I'm just basing this purely on this season and last season. Leah Galton's done everything for us. Now, going forward, if Kristen Press can actually maintain 5, 6, 7 games where she's consistently assisting goals and scoring goals, then yeah, maybe it's her turn to step in. And I do agree that maybe she is probably better on the left wing than up front. I'd prefer Russo up front, to be honest. I definitely prefer Tobin Heath in my starting lineup because she's proved this season that she's arguably player of the season. But for me,
yeah, she's a
Press can do whatever she wants, but look what Leah Galton's done. Sorry, Whitney, what was you going to say there?
No, I'm just saying, Tobin is just a versatile player. She can play any single position you put her in.
Yeah.
And excel. So, I mean, that's why she was able to just hit the ground running.
Yeah. Let me just. I just want to jump on this a little bit more. So, regarding this Player FC and club, all this kind of stuff, I think obviously a lot of fans, and it's a lot of more American fans or maybe Jackie Ronan fans would potentially do this more. If I turned around and said, right, the captaincy is up for grabs. Obviously, I think potentially Jackie could be captain next season. For example, I could say that because the talking points out there, we would then all of a sudden get a load of Jackie fans automatically start slagging off Katie Zellum or even Tobin Heath, because Tobin Heath could be a leader. Whitney, you probably think Tobin could be captain. I think Tobin could be captain. But just because I say that Jackie Ronan should be captain, all of a sudden, everyone starts abusing the other players. That's Player FC for you, isn't it? And it's something that I'm not a massive fan on at all. We see it in the men's game. We spoke about it.
A detail about that.
Yeah.
Bandstands of like any of the U.S. national team players. That was their introduction into women's football, because our leagues kept holding in America. So it was like, I mean, for instance, like Utah, shit that went down in Utah, which was, where Press played, and how they're now in Kansas. It's just, it's easier, or not necessarily easier, but like, to follow a player's career, because the U.S. women's national team is run as a club team. That's why they're pulled. That's why they practice twice as much as every other national team, because the NWSL, just allowed, which is why up until COVID and being able to opt out of the federation's money, they were allowed to play, they were allowed to pull the players whenever they wanted. And that was the issue. So, Tobin actually said it in her interview, or her pod that she did with United, about how, you never know what's going to happen. And that's when she went off to PSG because she wanted to keep playing. So that's just, I see where they're coming from in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, this is the NWSL is the longest league we've had, women's league we've had. So, I mean, that I understand. But as far as slagging off and, you know, being their inability to accept criticism, nobody's hating on Press. We all want her to stay. We all love her there. Y'all love her there. I mean, I'm just, you know, fell in love with the team. Yes, when they signed, I watched, you know, games back, this, that, the other. But I just love, they're a fun team. I love Stoney. She's just an incredible manager. And I just think that is the difference. And then you have all the shit. I mean, you saw, not you saw the stuff going down with the Champions Challenge Cup or whatever in the NWSL over the past week with, you know, speaking up about racism and everybody getting fined for it, teams that hadn't even played yet. I mean, it's just, and then, you know, there are regulations regarding trans people, non-binary people, just a complete and utter mess. So, I mean, it's just, like, I saw someone say, U.S. soccer, bring them back, or hold Tobin hostage and keep her here, or some BS like that. And it's just like, I mean, of course she's gonna come back. It makes sense for her to come back to the U.S. now.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, and also I will say that the NWSL journals used to go after Press like you would not even believe, and that is how because, you know, I use my name and my profile pic, you know, I would defend these stands till the end because they would literally just criticize Press no matter what she did, you know, whether it be her stats, club stats, this, that, the other, whatever, you know, it didn't matter. When she talked about the draft, they went after her for that because it was a non-answer, even though she wasn't given a direct question, or she answered the question correctly. Like, yeah, in that regard, we all bond, you know, we're together. The same with, she was just, they were just, I don't know if I can say, I don't know, I guess outed, on, you know, on social media by a prominent journalist in the United States. And it's just, so, I mean, that kind of stuff, we all, regardless of who you supported, whatever, we always, you know, would call them out on it, get them to delete it, whatever. So I understand, you know, where the stands are coming from, but also, like, you know, we criticized, who was it? Millie for hugging after the Derby or something.
Yeah.
We didn't know about it until it was brought to our attention. You know, and everyone was like, this isn't the Derby, whatever. And they, you know, and then, of course, just using BS tweets, you know, from United fans, blogging off Press. So.
Well, this is what I want to say. There's someone who's tweeted in here, Ugly Bear. And I know they've been on before, and I don't know if they're still about, but they just said, I don't know much about Man United women, but listening to the debate, I'm guessing Press is a bad apple or bad egg or whatever. No, not at all. We love Press. We wanted to stay. We wanted to sign on. Like I said, the first time I heard, I was Press all the way. Press, she hasn't maybe lived up to my expectations, but I know that she can live up to it and she can do amazing things. But it's the fans, it's that fandom that I think is really grating on us, because, you know, I've said about Tobin. Tobin's missed chances, but I never got the same fury that you seem to get with Press, and I don't know what it is. And maybe, it's because she's on the left. I probably do agree she's maybe better. I think it's minimal, but she maybe is better on the left. And for me, when Tooney joined this team, I know it's different because Press is older, but Tooney joined. She was never played at 10. She was played on the right wing. But Casey said, I want you to play in at 10, and this is how I want you to do it. Da, da, da. Now she's one of the best 10s for me, and she's going to be in there for years to come. When Millie Turner came into this team, she never really played centre-back. She used to play central defensive midfield. Casey said, no, I want you to play centre-back. Da, da, da. Yeah, with young players, there's more adaptation, there's more time, they can gel in, and, this team was already here. They joined the team right at the start. But like you said at the start, Whitney, you play it where your manager wants you. You're not the manager. They're getting paid. Maybe eventually we will see Press play on the left. But for me, I think what John says, Leah's our goat. I saw Susie saying it. Do not. That's what got my goat up about it the first time. That's when I thought, who the hell are these people? Because they started saying Leah's shit, and I thought, don't. Just the minute you start saying that shit about Leah, then I've seen it about Hansen, then I've seen it about Tooney, and I'm just tired.
Like, that's what I don't understand. We're literally fighting our own players. I think it was Nam that said it. It was like, said, she goes, I miss the fights, between opposing players.
Fans. Yeah.
That's what it should be.
But here we are slagging off and, attacking our own players.
And these people have got pictures of Kristen hugging Jackie, hugging LJ. So you've celebrating these parts.
Yeah.
And that goal with Jackie when she was through the middle, no one had no problem then. No one had no problem when she scored that goal at Everton. No one had a problem when she scored the goal at Thing. So it's not like she can't do it. It's just that you're so precious and think that she needs wrapping in cotton wool when I say, oh, maybe she should have passed there. And it's little throwaway comments and they just want to kill everyone. That's how it feels. It feels like they want to kill you and they want to see us fail. But how does that help anyone? How does Man United failing help Kristen, really? Doesn't help her at all. So you're slagging off Tooney, you're slagging off Hansen for what? Making Hansen come off social media.
Yes. Deleting a picture.
For what? For what reason?
I'm sure Hansen's contributed more than Press this season, I think, in goals or assists. Can someone just help me out on that, or at least equal?
I think she has. I think she's got 3 goals. But then Hansen will have more assists. And Hansen scored the goal that equalising thing, so Hansen's scoring bigger goals. You know what I'm saying? So, but listen, I'm not then saying, that doesn't mean that I'm saying Hansen's better than Press. No, not at all. And that doesn't mean I want to see Hansen over Press or anything like that. It just means they're all playing, they're all wearing the same badge, and it's about getting behind the team. And I'm like what Whitney says, it's because US women's national team is like a club. So it's like the national team versus Man United, but that's never going to happen. So you need to just get over it.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go for it.
About the question of Press should be play as winger, play as. Didn't he say that one of the things that they loved was that Casey said, this is how you can help the team, not this is how the team will play for you.
Yeah. Well, that's what Tobin said she loved. She said she loved.
Exactly.
The first thing that came in, you were going to do this in my team. It's not Tobin's team. It's not Press's team.
Exactly.
It's Manchester
People are
United.
forgetting that it's a team sport.
Yeah.
Every player should help the team.
This is a great debate that we can carry on, and I'm sure we'll continue this on other shows where we can get other American guests on as well. We have got 10 minutes left, so I do want to hear Omar Whitney's thoughts on where Preston Heath will be next season in a bit more detail. I know you speak a lot behind the scenes and this, that, and the other, so we'll speak about that, and then maybe we can just touch on the game on the weekend as well. So, Omar, do you want to just carry on and talk a little bit about what you were saying before we actually went on air about why you think Preston Heath either may stay at United or not go back to Portland, or what your thoughts are on that one?
I think that before the expansion draft, he might have been interested in return to Portland. When she arrived, one of the first things she repeated a lot of time was, Portland is her home. But she also said that she wanted to make history for United. Perhaps her idea was to play 1-2 seasons for United and then return to Portland. Evidently, at some point, probably what I'm seeing was a bet Portland tried to do for the draft and misfire on them. No idea what, but I think at this moment he's not going to return to Portland. And the fact that both decide to opt out from the Youth Soccer Federation contract indicate that they might not be interested in return to the NWSL.
Because they know their worth.
They were being paid around $120,000.
I believe it was 100, but you.
But plus some bonuses, I think it reached 120.
Include bonuses.
The question is around twice what the salary cap allows to pay the players. Then Pro United might be able to pay the same or perhaps even more. Any club in the NWSL will have to trade for them, and we're talking not one, just there are two players. They might have to offer in exchange 4 or 5 players or a lot of money. And that will reduce the amount of money from the allocation money the clubs have to bring them and then pay their contracts. So I don't see them going back. And if the main option of them were going to play in the Champions League, they would have joined a team already in it. They could have go easily for Chelsea, for City, or any European team. Wolfsburg, Olympiacos. What team would want to have them? They can do something here.
I just want to clarify just with the comments. We're not against stands. We're not against fans of Preston Heath. We're against fans of Preston Heath.
No, of course. The question is, they are fans and they are toxic fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Those are the problem.
Whitney, do you want to just explain to some of the guys on Twitter what a stan actually is?
Not you, Omar, I promise. Honestly, I swear to God, I initially thought it meant soccer fan. Eminem song. Stan. Y'all know Eminem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can rap it for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, John, I want to address. Sorry, Whitney. I want to address. See this Mac in the comments.
Soldiers, foot soldiers.
Yeah. I'm probably a stan. I'm obsessive. I love it. I go home and away. I carry all the flags, all the money that we spent building it up. But, you know, people are saying, oh, you're not welcoming. And I think to myself, if I'm not welcoming, how come Whitney, Omar, coming on our podcast, we've opened it out to more people. We've got someone else on Tuesday. No, let me just finish with it. We had Marty on before. We have loads of Americans on our watch-alongs, the Barmy Army. When they first signed, there was a lot of trouble with the website Fanatics, and 2 or 3 fans popped into my DMs and said, and I actually put a tweet out and said, if anyone needs me to buy them a shirt at the mega store, transfer me the money. And I say it to Whitney as well, transfer me the money and I'll post out to you in America. And 2 or 3 people wanted to prove Preston Heath, and I went and did that. So the thing, we're not welcoming, we're not this. it's a myth. We've been welcoming. We want to build. I remember when it was like, "Oh, guys, go vote for Casey." I remember seeing tweets, and everyone was like, "Vote for Casey, player of the player. Vote for Leah, vote for this," and we were all like, "Vote for everyone." So it was all together as one. And maybe it's since Tobin's gone. I don't know. Maybe since that winning feeling's gone, and now there's a lot of, well, you would have won if Press was on the wing, and this one's shit on the wing, and I don't understand it, but
before that, when Tobin first was announced that she was injured and was going to be out for 10 to 12 weeks, someone said Press is about to pop the fuck off. Or I don't know if I keep forgetting if I can curse or not. But they said you're going to see Press pop off now because, she's injured. And yet
We've got a Stan in the comments to Lucy Stan.
She's got a little song, Lucy Stan FC, Lucy Stan FC. We got her on her free, likes to score worldies, Lucy Stan FC. Bang.
Let's lighten the mood a little bit though for the last 5 minutes and talk a little bit about the FA Cup. So it was announced today that it will be on MUTV live, so we don't have to wait 3-4 hours like it was originally. We spoke a little bit before on Twitter, didn't we, Nat, about who could potentially drop out to the starting lineup and who we could potentially see. Is it a time to play some of the youngsters? Is it time to play some players that don't usually play in the starting 11? What would you kind of like to see in this game coming up, Nat?
I'd definitely like to see Tara and Carrie. I'd like to see Poppy Lawson or Chloe Broughton, who are top class centre backs for the under 21s. I want to see loads of young kids. I want to see. I sort of said Press might not play, not because I don't want to play or I hate her. It's because the pitch at Burnley is not going to be up to the same levels as other pitches. So I don't want her getting injured, and I think that's why she didn't play versus Brighton. So this is everyone saying, "Oh, Casey hates her, this and that," but Casey did it to protect her so she could go to the national team and play the games there, because she knows that she's fighting for the Olympic spot, whether it's right or wrong, I don't care, but she knows she's fighting for the Olympics, so she's put her first. So whether, Amy T might not start, so I'd like to see a young kid come in. Who knows? Whitney, who do you think?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, just give me 2 seconds, Whitney. John, we know that you're a massive Amy T fan, but hopefully if Amy T ever went to a different club, you wouldn't go abusing that club for not playing Amy T or something like that. That's what I'm saying. So if Amy T was left out of the starting lineup to play somebody else, hopefully you would abuse that player who's took Amy T's place in the way that sometimes we get it on social media. That's the point that I'm trying to make. But yeah, go on, Whitney. What were your thoughts on Natalie's comments just there?
Oh no, that she's been incredibly welcoming. She was the first person to. I don't even know how we first started talking, but she's been incredibly welcoming. We talk all day, every single day. I wake up to notifications from each other. Like, it's just all love. When I said something wrong, y'all corrected me, and I didn't swear. Now I will. What the fuck? No, but it's just absolutely ridiculous. I understand why there are foot soldiers for CP because nobody gave her any attention. USSF is racist. We know this. The fans know it. The stands know it. The CP stands know it. And yet, for some reason, they're propping him up for whatever reason. I don't know. So it's just, people. She's the number one for the past decade. I want to say she's been the number one favorite athlete on Tumblr, which is, and then Tobin Heath was second or whatever. That's a massive accomplishment. But it's because journalists don't talk about her or don't celebrate her. Obviously we're wrapping up, so I'm not going to go into any more detail about, the stands. But as I said, people got into women's soccer for representation because of the U.S. women's national team, investment, and just, you know, them winning and then seeing themselves on the big screen and winning awards and knowing that they, you know, it's giving them hope and this, that, the other. You know, so like I said, it's run as a club team. So I follow the player, you know, wherever they go. It is what it is. So, oh, damn, I didn't realize I was supposed to put my at.
We'll go through that at the end. Omar, so we have got that match against Burnley on Sunday. Is it going to be a comfortable win, or do you don't see an upset, do you, Omar?
I hope that it's a win. I mean, it's a tier 3 team. So I would like that Casey gives options to some academy players.
Mm-hmm.
Unless some minutes. But I expect that the win to be secure around halftime.
Yeah. Nat, I know you always like a good score prediction. Are you expecting big numbers on this one, or maybe a little less numbers? Go on.
No, what John Fry's put. Listen, I'm not saying it's going to be 10-0, but I do want it big, you know, over 5. But with the way we've been playing, who knows? I take a 1-0 still. I take a 1-0 still. It's depressing, but I would take a 1-0.
You're not wrong. You're never wrong.
I think I'd like to see some youngsters come in, but with still some strength in there as well. So not just completely overhaul it. You know, if these youngsters are going to come in, maybe surround them with like 7 or 8 top players, and then just see how they fit in that way. Because sometimes if you change the whole team, obviously it disrupts the rhythm, but you can't see how good some of these youngsters are playing because they're playing with some of the weaker players in the squad as opposed to some of the top players who would never usually play in the starting 11 anyway. So, yeah, I would definitely like to see maybe 3 or 4 younger players play. And yeah, absolutely, by half-time, if we can be 2 or 3 up by half-time with that calibre of player in the starting 11, I think that would be a great achievement. So I'm probably going to go for maybe a 4-0 then. Fingers crossed. Available on MUTV live. Whitney, do you want to give a score prediction?
God, I'm so bad at these. I'm going to go 2-1. No reason because we can't freaking defend for shit. Sorry, but we can't.
True, though. True.
Yeah, no, it's always in the back of your head. No, it wasn't at the start of the season, but it is obviously now, so you can't argue with that. Look,
that's why we need some little devs. That's why I need Poppy Lawson to step up and come in. You know, that's why I need Chloe Broughton. I need my baby defenders to get us out.
We've got a few.
I agree. I think she should play the academy players. She needs to.
Yeah. That's probably what could happen. We are going to end the show because we've been running over 1 hour now. Just before we do, we have got this new YouTube channel launching towards the end of the month. So it's set up. If anybody wants to help us and find out what that is before it actually goes live, before we publicise it, please drop me an inbox or Natalie, and we'll help you out and guide you on the right way. And then when it's set up properly, we'll obviously make a big song and dance about it. This is our 48th show. So in 2 shows' time, it'll be our 50th show, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And we're going to do something slightly different. We're not actually giving away what it is just yet, but it's something that we've never done on the show before. And I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. So that's something to look forward to in a week's time. Plan for the rest of the week. It's Friday today, which means Saturday tomorrow is the Ben and Matt show live on Twitter, which will eventually now start being on our YouTube channel now that we've got one. So you will have 4 or 5 shows a week, which is fantastic. You'll never be stuck for anything to watch regarding Man United Women's team anymore. And then next week's show will be Tuesday, I believe, not the Monday. So it'll be on Tuesday. So lots to look out for there. Socials, Natalie?
Get on it, Natalie_17. Hit me up. Get in my DM. Get this link to the thing. I need you guys. There's 30 of you watching now. So all of you come in my DMs and get following our new YouTube channel. We're going to make it big. We're going to have different shows. Whitney's going to come on it again. The Real Housewives of Woso. You know who you are. You're going to come on. We're going to have a show. Girls only. You know, different things. We're going to mix it up, John. So definitely get in my DMs, get in John's DMs, get in All for United, Women, FC, Twitter DMs. Follow us. We need your support, guys. So you always watch the show. Come and let us know. Come and follow the channel. Follow me as well.
Yeah. Whitney, if somebody wants to chat to you regarding Man United women's team or Tobin Heath or Kristen Press, how can they go about doing that on Twitter?
Missed it. What happened?
Your Twitter.
Twitter link, if you want to put it on. Or you don't want to.
Is it at Whitney Pong?
Oh, yeah. Obviously. Get her daily.
Find it in our links. We've retweeted it. So, yeah, if you want to speak to Whitney, speak to her there.
And our bars is on screen.
Yes, that's my Twitter.
But also don't, because, like, I'm not fucking...
It's a penny in the swear jar.
I think there's about £10 in there by now, actually.
Yeah. It's what I'm using to buy my drinks tonight. Whitney's swear jar money is my drink.
Whitney's what money?
Swear money.
Oh, my swear jar?
Yeah. $20 in there. $20 in there now, Whitney. Yeah.
Right. I'll Venmo you. Drop your Venmo. Is it the same as your at?
Hey?
I said, is your Venmo the same as your at?
My Venmo.
Okay, never mind. I guess it's an American thing.
Yeah.
You can send
PayPal, baby. Get me that money.
All
Drop
right,
it.
drinking money.
Send me that money. No, I'm joking. John,
we'll carry this on privately, but we're going to have to shoot off. But thank you, Whitney. Thank you, Omar. Especially a short notice, Omar. Really appreciate it. And Whitney, great to have you on finally. We've been looking forward to it for a very long time. So thank you for coming on, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it.
And I agree. We're going to win the league next year. Bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam. Come on. Up the Reds.
No doubt about